As the mist leaves no scar on the dark green hill, so my body leaves no scar on you, nor ever will. When wind and hawk encounter what remains to keep, so you and I encounter, then turn, then fall to sleep.
Because what he sets up really are certain, and they're beautiful standards, but they're very definite standards of English humor.
Well, I was going to say, if William Wordsworth had stepped on immediately after, or Swinburne, it would have gone in beautifully, you know.
Yeah. This was
And he was behind me all the time to reading, and I know that, you know, he's with us.
Cohen's interest in young people is genuine. He has a rapport with youth. He feels that he is a voice of this generation. And he listens to what it has to say.
Quite amusing. Why? Well, it's just... The man didn't plug one single syllable, or blurred or slurred a single word.
Cohen once wrote of academic gatherings as providing the poet with little more than opportunity for sexual conquest. But now he says he is anxious to preserve all of the species. He now moves easily in these surroundings. Still, he despises literary pretense and insists that poetry is not an occupation, but a verdict.
The lunatic asylum, I mean, you can't resist that. And the right thing happened.
I'm ashamed to say about a year ago, and I don't remember too much about it.
He spent 3 years at McGill University as an average art student and one inglorious semester in law. He entered eagerly into the affairs of the student establishment. His career as a big man on the campus was typically unorthodox. He won election as president of the debating union and then refused to call debates. He hated the concept of fraternities, but won election as president of a fraternity and then fought to retain its exclusive Jewish character.
I don't like the way the evidence is building up. I'm at the Westmount. I've got Westmount. I've got the chauffeur.
Yeah.
And I've got the fraternity. I've got the politics.
Yeah. Well, you got rid of the debating union.
You know, all I have
Didn't
to
you almost get rid of the fraternity too?
all I have to tell you now is that I was good in sports. And I've completely ruined the cliche of the poet forever.
But that wasn't it. We played hockey.
I played a little hockey in public school. Up to the age of 12, I was about the 9th best defenseman in the class.
He is a constant wanderer. Little black notebooks are stuffed with pertinent observations. These he mixes with his considerable talent to produce his art.
For you, I will be a ghetto Jew and dance and put white stockings on my twisted limbs and poison wells across the town. For you, I will be a bankered Jew and bring to ruin a proud old hunting king and end his line. For you, I will be a Broadway Jew and cry in theaters for my mother and sell bargain goods beneath the counter. For you, I will be a Dachau Jew and lie down in lime with twisted limbs and bloated pain no mind can understand.
Cohen is not self-consciously cultured. He has not read extensively. He listens largely to pop music. He has, however, a hypersensitivity and an enormous curiosity.
I'm very concerned. I was looking at the back. I was looking at the back of True Story this afternoon. And I saw about 20 ads about unwanted hair. The hair was, a lot of people were offering to get rid of hair. They were offering to sandpaper it away, shave it away, pull it out,
cut it, dissolve it with cream, electrocute it. I mean, you're very concerned with unwanted babies, but nobody cares for unwanted hair. I think there should be a place for unwanted hair in this society. I think, at the very least, there should be a hair museum. I mean, there should be somewhere a hair asylum. There should be somewhere where middle-aged ladies' mustaches can reside. College beards abandoned for careers. I mean, a man should be able to go into one of these hair asylums and, you know, review his whole life. Montreal is still small enough to have one or two centers, one or two late-night centers. And into this funnel is drawn everyone who happens to be up that night, or at least a representation of the various groups operating in the night. And groups operating in the night always have a special kind of interest and a special kind of ritualistic atmosphere.
And women?
Not Greek women.
No? Why not?
Because Greek brothers feel very covetous of their sisters.
Well, shotgun weddings.
Not shotgun wedding, knife murders.
Knife murders. Great. The Stalin hate.
And into these places, these special places in the city, and Ben's is one of them, is drawn this very urgent cross-section of people who have somehow committed the first rebellious act that a man can perform, refusing to sleep. That's the real rebellion against life and the generative process. That's the real human idea. I refuse to sleep. I'm going to protest the idea of sleep by turning night into day. I'm going to revel and drink and womanize all night. And this way I show time, death, the natural process of destruction, decay, and regeneration. I showed all that with my mind and my will, I, man, triumph. So they come to Ben's.
Maybe you're reading the wrong books.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Stop reading poetry. Maybe you should read poems.
I don't read poetry, huh?
Oh, you only write it.
I hardly write it even.
With the popular sounds of the day ringing in his ear, Cohen works his talent very hard. He writes and rewrites for about 5 hours a day. He writes of himself.
I am with the hunters, hungry and shrewd, and I am with the hunted, quick and soft and nude.
He writes of the night.
From a hill I watched the apple blossoms breathe the silver out of the night, like fish eating the spheres of air out of the river.
He writes of the drug addict and his needle.
Under hard lights, with doctors' instruments, you are at work in the bathrooms of the city, changing the law. The spike hunts constant as a compass.
He writes of a Greek harbor.
The stony path coiled around me and bound me to the night. A boat hunted the edge of the sea under a hissing light. Something soft involved the net and bled around the sphere.
In 1961, he anticipated the Bay of Pigs invasion and went to Cuba.
The real reason was a deep interest in violence. I was very interested in what it really meant